Good morning, Tim.
Oh, you're the king of the segues, Danny.
Yep.
Good morning.
Yep. The Segui. All right. Are you pro Mayfield or anti Mayfield with this situation?
I'm generally pro Mayfield on almost everything. He's probably exaggerating, taking it a little farther than it needs to be. I do think it's strange. He's got a little Kevin Durant in him. He pays attention to a lot of criticism out there that he doesn't really need to. In general, the weirdest thing to me in this whole situation is, and you know this too, we know people in the media who make about 1 to 2% of what a head coach makes, and they have non-compete clauses in their contract. When they lose their job, they can't do anything with the competitor for a year. How do you go from a head coach in the NFL to 2 weeks later working for a team in your division? How is that even possible?
Yeah, and I heard Peter King say that the NFL has to address that you can't just, if somebody loses their job and then they could all of a sudden show up on somebody else's staff. But, I understand Hugh Jackson saying, look, you don't want me anymore. I want to stick it to you, so I'm going to go to the Bengals. And I get that, Baker Mayfield feels like you're a traitor that you did that. I understand all of that. I'm kind of surprised that Baker Mayfield is still continuing to talk about this when it's Hugh Jackson and it's the Bengals.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the competitive nature of Baker, that sometimes he wants to remind us that it's there. We kind of know it's there. It's kind of like, okay, we know what kind of competitor you are. You really don't have to keep going on this.
All right, this game tonight, if we talked a month ago or so, we were looking at doomsday for this Dallas situation with Dak Prescott's future, Jason Garrett's future here. Would Jerry ever win a Super Bowl? Now all of a sudden, the star is back and it's brighter than ever. So what kind of chance do you give Dallas tonight against New Orleans?
I think I give them more of a chance than most around here. We'll put it at 31%, Dan. But I give them a good chance to cover that 7-point spread. I just think if you look back 1 month, New Orleans went to Baltimore and beat them 24-23. Baltimore's got a little better defense than Dallas maybe, but not – they don't have a Ravens, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis defense. And Dallas has a better offense. I just think they will be able to run the ball more than other teams have run it on the Saints. If that proves not to be true, then they're dead and they'll lose by 20. But I think they can run it and, have 32 minutes time of possession and just keep it from getting ridiculous like it gets with the Saints sometimes.
You imagine if the Cowboys win?
Well, that would be that'll still surprise me a fair amount, for sure. And, there's people around here that are dreading that just because they know or they feel like they know, okay, that's 3 more years of Jason Garrett. But who knows? Who knows? If they do that, then, maybe they're going to end up 10-6 or whatever and actually compete in the playoffs. But they still got to do that first.
Okay, but the question's here. Has Jason Garrett done enough that he's going to keep his job?
No. I still think this could go the wrong way. And it wouldn't – if they lose tonight, stumble somewhere else, and even if they win the division at 9-7 and then lose the wild card game, I don't know that he's a lock to come back at all. And I think for sure Jerry would make him change out the offensive coordinator, Scott Linehan. But I think there are a number of ways Jason is still not back after this year.
But if you said to Cowboy fans, you can win the next 3 or lose the next 3. If winning the next 3 means Jason Garrett stays or losing the next 3 means he's gone.
You gotta pick stay. You gotta pick win. I've said I think people exaggerate all this too much. We really never know exactly what makes coaches, and we think after 8 years, all right, Jason Garrett has a certain limit, and he's not going to really get you that far. But I don't know that there's no real way to take analytics and prove it. There's just a way to look at his numbers and say he's above 500 coach. He's only got to January twice out of 7 seasons, and he's won one game there. Does that mean it couldn't happen? I don't know. I think you have to ride the winning whenever you get it, and then live with what happens.
And is Dak Prescott going to be extended? So is he the franchise quarterback with the big number coming his way?
I think it's getting better for him, although we could debate the size of the number. But the funny thing, Dan, is like at halftime in the last game, I was tweeting about Amari Cooper. After 3.5 games, he was averaging 11.3 yards per catch after being a 14 and 15-yard guy for 3 seasons in Oakland. And just saying, is this ever going to work, or is he just what he's relegated to here? Now, based on 2 plays, a 5-yard pass he turned into 40, and then a nice 20 to 25-yard pass he turned into 90, we've decided that everything works and everything's going to be great here. And maybe it is. But, I think we need to see a little more of that before we know for sure where we think Dak can take this team.
He's Tim Cowlishaw, columnist, Dallas Morning News, and star panelist on ESPN's Around the Horn, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Now, when you go into a game like this as a columnist, do you have a column ready for the Cowboys being blown out? And do you have a column ready if Dallas would somehow pull this out?
I think a good columnist always does that, Dan. I might think about it one day. I do not. But I've only been doing the column thing for 21 years. So maybe in year 22 I'll think in those terms. Now, we don't have a lot of time. I know everybody's really interested in newspaper deadlines and feeling sorry for
What are newspapers?
What is that? What is that you're talking about?
Yeah, what is this newspaper you're talking about?
Why are people throwing things in my yard? Get it out. I mean, you have ideas, but you don't. No, the correct answer for me is no, I do not.
All right, one more thing. The Texas-Oklahoma game this weekend.
Big.
Now, the thing that stood out to me is that if Oklahoma does the horns down gesture, they could be flagged 15 yards in the Big 12 title game. How is it that Texas can do the horns up and Oklahoma can't do the horns down gesture, Tim?
How is it that my alma mater has a Longhorns network and the others don't? We get to play by our own rules here. We have all the judges in the state. We have all the power. It's a stupid thing. And Will Greer got a big penalty.
Yeah.
He did it after, that was 15 yards on the kickoff. If Tom Herman hadn't used up all his timeouts before the 2-point conversion, that could have been a huge play. It's just silliness. Of course they should be able to do that. But I like the fact that Lincoln Riley checked with the league office. I think he probably said something like, when we score 6 or 7 touchdowns Saturday, are we allowed on any of those to do horns down, or is that not a thing?
How silly is this? But Oklahoma,
crazy.
They can't do it, but Texas can. So that's not taunting if Texas does it, but if Oklahoma does the horns down, it is.
In fairness, that's a Texas symbol. You can do, like if you're a Baylor Bear, you can put a claw up or whatever it is they do, or some of the other little symbols people have. They can put an O up if they want.
It's silly. It's silly. Fritzy's got the title for your column if New Orleans wins. Fritzy, do you want to offer this up to Cowlishaw?
If New Orleans wins, I got how about them Saints? And if the Cowboys shock the Saints, I got who Dak?
Oh, who Dak?
Who Dak?
Okay.
I'm to kick around there.
Doing some early morning work for the morning news.
Well,
I like that.
Tim doesn't do the title of the. He doesn't do the headline.
Yeah, but he can offer an opinion.
It's on the headline, Dan.
That's a headline. I'm sorry. Do you control the headline?
Do you have any newspaper background at all?
I've read them.
High school?
I've read them.
You've read them. Well, thank you for
I
that.
delivered a newspaper.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Which one?
It was the Cincinnati Post.
Oh, nice.
Cincinnati Post.
Afternoon paper.
Yes, it was.
Paper.
Yeah, afternoon newspaper. But I, of course, was 23 years of age when I was doing it. So,
Yeah, a little late.
So there you go. You have a couple of titles or headlines for your column.
Yes.
Courtesy of Fritz.
I'm ready. I'm halfway there.
Are you on Around the Horn tonight?
I am on today on the new augmented reality Around the Horn. Yes.
The Tony
the new
Tony reality show.
Have you seen the new colors and all the splashy colors?
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
All right.
You know what's going to happen is you guys are going to be replaced by digital columnists at some point. Like
very soon. Yes.
Yeah.
I fear that day.
Yeah.
Correct.
Keep your head up, though. All right. Good luck tonight. We'll be watching. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Cheer for me to make that.
Who has a better chance of winning tonight? You on Around the Horn or the Cowboys?
Well, I gave the Cowboys a 31% chance.
Yeah.
I have a 25%. So I guess it's the Cowboys. That's
but if Woody's on there, you got a little better odds.
Then it bumps up a little. Then I'm at 28.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, buddy.
That's Tim Cowlishaw, Dallas Morning News.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.